Or she'll make like a cheeseburger, and Ida will be like, "Your pal's meant us to be an animal. It can't be a cheeseburger." And Lucy's like, "Why?" And then Ida's like, I never really thought about that. And then the cheeseburger comes to life, like just right there. Oh God! Please no. They wouldn't do that.
I love how that's like what we're talking about right now in this episode.
Meow.
Oh my god, this episode, so much happened in this episode that I'm trying to... I almost want to say let's rewatch it or something, but it felt so long. Oh my god.
It really did.
Okay, let me go through an episode. Let me go through an episode recap, just like the episode did. So,
oh yeah, that happened.
At the beginning of the episode, there was an episode recap where Lou said a line that she didn't say in the episode that was being recapped, which is that King is the Titan's son, which we figured out whilst watching that episode, but she definitely didn't say it. Definitely not.
She said like, "King, you're the Boiling Isle's son." Which...
She said that in the original episode?
No, she didn't. Not in the original episode. Not at all. But in the flashback, she said that.
In the original, she just said Titan, I think. But what I want to know is why they recapped that episode instead of recapping everything that's happened with Rain. I feel like that's been a little more complicated. Like, I was kind of confused about some of the revelations they came to with that.
I mean, they kind of did right at the end when Luz was just saying everything that Rain did.
Yeah, but I'd rather they showed that than talk about it, because I was like, whoa, they knew already and stuff? Like, that was a little confusing.
Yeah, that was a bit exposition-y at the very end. That was a bit...
Hold on, I just wanted to talk about the Boiling Isles thing. Is the Boiling Isles the name of that one Titan? Because that's weird, right?
Boiling J. Isles Jr.
Exactly.
That's what they're calling him. Doesn't mean that was his name when he was alive. I mean, the Titan
but it's
has
one
been alive
Titan.
for 100,000 years.
No matter who named it, it's one Titan. Why would it be called Isles?
Because the Titan is under the water, and the Titan's knee is an isle of its own. So it's got like multiple islands because the Titan isn't all on the surface. That's what it's talking about.
Out of all the things
that does make sense when you explain it, but it's not intuitive. What did you say, Chan? Sorry.
I said out of all the things we could have started with, I didn't think this was what we were going to start with.
We're going in chronological order this time.
Okay, so after the episode recap, we find out that the Owl House has been decked by the Emperor's scouts, but that Ida and Lilith escaped to a mountaintop on the knee of the Titan. Ida and Lilith discuss a plan, which it turns out they don't have, but they're relieved that King and Ida are off land. King and Ida? They're relieved that King and Luz are off land, but then King and Luz go and find them, and there's the whole King having his bit of a meltdown. Oh, I nearly forgot to talk about the collector dream at the very, very beginning.
Oh, me too. I completely forgot about that. I was right. My theory was right, I think. Or somehow.
I won't be alone anymore. I'll be free. Wait, don't go.
Or actually, wait. No, actually, it seems like the opposite of my theory, because I said that the collector was trying to get into the mirror world, but it seems like he's actually trying to get out. Yeah.
Could just be a separate realm, though. Do we know it's the mirror realm?
I'm pretty sure that's... Yeah.
Yeah, that could not be the mirror realm, too. We don't really... I mean, it looks exactly...
What?
They looked different.
It looks exactly like the mirror realm.
It had those cubes.
It had the cubes. It's the mirror realm.
It had the cubes, but it was kind of like segmented. You know, the ground...
Do you really think they're going to introduce another realm this late in the game?
I don't think so. I'm just saying it could be argued that it was different.
I think that was because it was also King's dream, and so part of it were just things King was dreaming of, like being on the boat.
Plus, it makes a ton of sense to be the mirror thing because the collector only shows up as like a shadow apparition in the real world of what we've seen anyway. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So Lilith kind of like alienates King by trying to praise him, and that leads to a really funny joke at the end of the episode. I can recommend a good therapist.
And then he's just like, I'm kind of sensing a pattern with you.
and then King runs off to hang with Steve, who has a cool biker jacket, looks just like he looks just like what's his name? He looks just like Bartholomew. Why?
Really? I guess I didn't think of that.
He does look like him.
He does, now that you say it, yeah.
He looks like him, but he also has a horn.
It's his dad.
I really like that, and I really like that they threw off the Emperor Coven's scout mask in the last episode as well. It just sort of emphasises that these scouts, like especially the whole talk of the overtime, and the day after the Day of Unity, it just emphasises that the scouts are going to be just as much victims of this as anyone else, and they don't even know it.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say I loved when he took his mask off and he's just a person. I'm like, oh yeah, they're people. It's just like they're not just like faceless fodder for getting beat up, you know?
Yeah, there was something very peaceful about that entire sequence. Like I don't know, the atmosphere of the episode until the very end, which I will talk about. The atmosphere of the episode is incredibly dire, almost apocalyptic, like a final day before the end of the world. And I really liked that feeling, and that's why I really enjoyed the scenes with King and Steve, just having just two people who've barely met, just having like a fun adventure before the end of the world. And I really enjoyed that.
They were good scenes, but the vibes were just weird because, like, who is Steve?
Yeah, who the fuck is Steve?
I'm with Tipsy on that. I don't even care who Steve is. I'm like, they're just like going off together. They're like,
it is the most Adventure Time thing ever.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I guess we're supposed to know Steve, but I didn't remember him.
They said from Lilith's birthday. Did we see that?
Yes, he was there. I remember seeing the guard like wearing a shirt that said Steve at Lilith's party. And I think also, I do not know this for sure because I don't look at Owl House fandom stuff because I try to remain unspoiled. I think Steve the Guard was like a meme thing that the crew liked enough and like put in the show.
Oh.
That'd be funny to hear, if that's true.
But yeah, I think just whether or not we were supposed to really, because they could have gone a direction and had that be any character from the Emperor's Coven, but they had it be they had it be like some random background guy, and whether or not we met him before, it still worked really well to me. It was really sweet, and yeah, it was very Adventure Timey.
Yeah, just that guy, Steve, you know?
I think it works in their favor that we don't know him, like, instead of a previously known character, because it just shows, like, this connection that those two had, because they were both feeling the same way at the time. They didn't need to know each other.
True.
They just knew that they wanted to go somewhere.
I love how, like, hilarious the anime Steve was as well. Like, I don't know, there's... I joked that it seems like he's like the mentor character who's going to die or something. Yeah. But he was very anime with his bike and his jacket. It was very silly and funny, but also sweet in that, you know, in that way we just described, of two people just living their lives, just bumping into each other and having a nice day.
And that one bit when King like hugged the rib bone of the Titan.
Oh, yeah, that killed me.
I'm like, wow, I feel bad for King all the time now. They finally have made me feel for him. They've done it.
Yeah, they nailed the vibes of this episode. Like, this was a great emotional climax for not just King, but Ida and Luz too. Like, I think it was just really well put together. I think I ended up caring more about King's thing, which is very surprising considering we never felt much for him before.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be a ruler anymore. I just want to be myself.
Yeah.
So, regards to Ida and Luz, I've been waiting for an Ida and Luz episode for a long time because we haven't gotten one since, I think, the start of the season. Is that correct?
I know. I mean, I don't know for sure exactly, but like it feels like that anyway.
Yeah, so like the core relationship which blew out, like in episode 18 last season, it was Ida fighting Liv to protect Luz. I think And then the next episode was Luz breaking Lilith, Ida of the Owl Curse, but like season 2 has been missing those amazing mother-daughter moments between them because it's got so much else going on. It's been focusing on that instead and just having a few interspersed scenes, but nothing like this. And when I realised that Ida and Luz were going to fight over Luz's safety, because Luz, I don't know, there was something particularly heartbreaking about how Ida's barely keeping it together and is just desperate to protect Luz, but Luz takes it so personally and thinks that her mother figure doesn't believe in her. And that fight, it could have been better. It really could have been stronger.
Yeah.
But it was a good fight and a great concept. And like the scene of them in chains the entire thing of Ida breaking down to Rain, who she thinks hates her at this point because Rain is still putting on a farce, and then like the being in chains to the car and thinking that it's all over, and just the devastation of opening up to Luz about how she has no idea what to do. That was very powerful, and that would have been a great way to end the episode.
Yeah, but it wasn't. There was more.
There was more. Okay, so after all of that, after this amazing end of the world episode where like everything is going wrong, it's okay. Everything is fine. I mean, it's not fine yet, but it's not the end just yet. And then they just have a bit of an exposition dump whilst they finally introduce us to Darius's gang, Darius and Rain's gang, who have been operating in the shadows all season. We finally kind of get a sense of what they're up to, and they catch up Ida and Luz on the main plot. I think, and Lilith and King are there as well, aren't they?
Yeah, everyone's there.
Yeah, everybody is here. I kind of...
Well, except for the Hexside kids, I guess.
Yeah, they're not here yet.
They're their own Hexside army.
Oh, I really thought that they'd, like, recruit Hunter or something. No, because they didn't recruit Hunter. He just went straight to Hexside instead. But we've got to get Hexside in on it eventually anyway. So yeah, we have a bit of an exposition dump as we have Luz repeat what Rain's story is. We have Darius talk about his side of it, and it's a nice scene. It's a really nice scene. It's a bit weird coming at the end of this episode, and then at the very end we have a beautiful scene.
Well, cats.
Cats!
You didn't mention.
It all comes full circle, she says as she pulls her cat head up, and then I'm cheering because I love cats, so thanks. And then we have a very beautiful scene of them opening the talisman box for Luz, having a mother-daughter moment with King there as well. And we have all the time in the world, she says, as she helps... she says her father showed her the ropes of talisman carving, so Ida's coming to terms with what happened with the father as well. So that's a recap of the episode, I guess. What are your thoughts?
Exactly.
It was really good.
I thought it was again back to the pacing of it. Like it was so well put together because honestly, at the beginning, I think like before the first commercial break of it, I was feeling like this is a weirdly relaxing episode. Like I don't know if I was gonna like it if it like kind of stayed, because it was pretty exposition-y in the beginning part too, like finding Ida, explaining King was a Titan and stuff like that. So I had a feeling like the whole episode was just going to kind of take place in that cave almost. Like I was worried to not necessarily be a recap episode, but be a very like we're going to sit down and talk about everything sort of episode. But it totally went further than that, which was great and did honestly surprise me a little bit. And I think the journey with King was really adorable. The fact that they conveyed all that like with a montage worked really well, because I can't take King's voice seriously.
Yeah, it was just completely silent. Oh god, do you know what it reminds me of, the pacing? Obsidian. It reminds me of Distant Lands Obsidian. Like we had to check the length of the episode because I was like, this surely isn't just like 20 minutes, right?
I know, it really did feel like it was longer, but like they just made really good use of the time they had.
In a good way. In
Yeah.
a good way, it was longer.
So the way it
Yeah.
the way it kept jumping from scene to scene, and you had some really serene and sad moments, and then some like action moments. It did remind me of Obsidian a lot in terms of pacing, and I think it's kind of a mixed bag because the episode is just so. Well, I feel like it's a mixed bag for terms of my attention span, which is nothing. So because the episode goes in so many directions that I'm desperately trying to keep track of what is going on.
I know. I agree about the mixed bag thing. I think, like, there's definitely things I feel a bit nitpicky about in this episode. Like, you know, one thing was, like, when Ida was talking to Rain through the orb, and then Luz showed up and had overheard her. And then she was like, "Are you really leaving me behind?" And I was like, "Are we really doing this?" And then someone overheard her and was like, "Oh, they know their secret now." I was like, "Are we really doing this now?" But like, then they had that fight and it was really cool. And like, I don't think it just the whole tone, the tone of the whole episode, how it's so dire up until the very end, and just the like emotions of it was handled so well that I like don't care that much about the things I had a real problem with.
I like the idea of Ida hijacking the rain orb. Like, she's like, ooh. Like, it's an orb with rain in it. And then the guard leaves, and then she's just like, hey. I was like, cool. And then Rain is like, they're like, I'll deliver the package or whatever. And I'm just like, oh my god, finally. They're helping, like, outwardly. That's really happy.
I love how, like, at the start of the episode, Ida's like, what would you want to do if this was your last day? And King's like, I just want a normal day. And then Lucy's like, I want to be gay and do crimes. And Ida's like, of course you do. And then they go and rob the Emperor's Coven. Go rob their own stuff back.
Also, they got that Disney shade in there. It was the best line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, this episode was totally written after they had the news about season 3.
Yeah, definitely.
It must have been.
She said, like, I'd love to have time for 20 more adventures. Like, specifically 20. The exact number of episodes in a season. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god. You're right. I didn't even realise that. But oh my god. Yeah, and I would even go so far as to argue that either this one or the episode immediately before was the one where they found this out. I'd say if there's a specific...
it raises questions, right? Like, this whole time I've kind of been assuming that they didn't know, they didn't know until season 2 was, like, finished being produced. But, like, now that we have this as a pretty clear sign that they did know, it makes me wonder, I feel like it could have been as early as, like, halfway through, like, when we just came back from hiatus here, like halfway through season 2, because that's when they really started to move the plot forward, like, as fast as they could.
Well, knowing what I do about production, it's usually like around 9 months between an episode being storyboarded, or the start of production, and an episode coming to air. And it was definitely more than 9 months ago that we found out there would just be 3 episodes. Is that correct?
I don't remember.
Is it 3 or 4 in season 3?
4.
It's 4?
What? No, it's 3. I'm sure it's 3.
It's 3. There's only
We lost
3
an episode. They
in
took
season
away an
3.
episode from us.
Oh no.
Yeah, we lost an episode that you made up.
So it's like 3 double length episodes, isn't it? So it's only like 6 episodes. Oh my god. And yeah, so I'm thinking that when it was announced, season 2.2, we'll call it, was on a production hiatus. They were still working on the storyboarding. It had a slow production. It had like it was like late in production, basically. No, not late in production. Like, it was taking a while to get produced, so they definitely hadn't finished storyboarding and cleaning up the season's final few episodes by the time they got hit with the news there would only be 3 episodes left. So we're definitely within the area now of when they would have found that out, because this is when around season 3 would have gotten renewed. So because they don't wait until the season's done before they order the next one.
Mm-hmm.
They wait until it's nearly done before they order the next one. So
That does make sense.
I would just like to point out that we care so much about this aspect of the production of the show because as Adventure Time fans we had to focus on this a lot, especially once Cartoon Network stopped caring about the show.
They released a picture of the cake that was like 284 episodes, and we're like, are we sure that that's all of them? Maybe there's one under the tray, or like maybe the Minecraft one didn't count, or maybe it's like we're like desperate.
But yeah, with Adventure Time, it was similar. They didn't like have a new season ordered until they were like in the middle of conceptualizing the final few episodes of each season, and then they'd get a new one ordered. Because what happens is they order the new one towards the end of the production cycle for the previous one, but they don't wait until the last minute to do it. They just do it early so that everybody doesn't leave and get another job. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. And that's what happened here, and which is why the final, this episode, and maybe the previous one as well, seem a lot more jam-packed, as well as the last few seconds of the episode before. So I'm guessing that the King episode, that might have been the last episode to be assumed a normal season 3 length. But then they changed that episode when they found out the truth, and then they wrote the next episode and this one with that in mind. So that's what I think happened. Anyway, enough about that. But it isn't.
But if that's the case, sorry, I have more to say about that. Like, if that's the case, I wonder what got cut. Like, I wonder what we're missing out on then.
I know,
because since earlier than that, like a good amount earlier than that, the plot had been really moving. Like ever since the first episode of season 2.2, right, when the Emperor said the Day of Unity is coming soon. If they really thought they had like a whole season and a half after that point, what were they going to do with it?
You're right, because
as a viewer, I don't feel like any of it was jarring, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think they've been handling it well with what they've got, right? But I'm just curious. I'm just so curious about what could have been.
Yeah, like if they thought they were going to have 20 more episodes, like did they have another arc, or were they just going to make this go on for a very kind of unreasonably long time? Because I feel like the way it's going has been totally fine from a viewer perspective. Like it has been like very finely paced.
They had to cut the Hunter and the Grandma Cafe episode, unfortunately.
No.
Damn. Maybe in distant land, like HBO Max Hunter Grandma Cafe episode, we'll get to see that.
Well, part of me suspects that Dana Terrace always suspected Disney were going to pull the plug on this one early, so maybe that's it as well. I think they expected a little bit more in season 3 than they got, but they probably knew in advance that something was going to go wrong. Because, like all the other Disney shows.
As much as I want more, obviously, I think that they... Like, I'm not sitting here like, how are they going to wrap this all up in 7 episodes, or 1 episode plus the 6 extra ones. Like, I feel like they can do it and it will be satisfying at the very least.
I agree,
you know?
Yeah, I mean, whilst this episode certainly feels like there was, they had to do a lot in a short time, they seem to be doing the best they possibly can do. Like, they're not, it's not, because the plot is so simple to the Owl House, they're able to take these breaks and just sit with the characters for a while. They don't have to do what Adventure Time did and write a 44-minute special where everything happens in the world because they thought they had another 20 episodes left. And the plot was so complicated. They can take a breather and wait until the big finale. But I'm guessing that the big finale itself might be a little bit dense. And
20 or the final episode?
Well, the final episode no doubt will be dense. But I'm guessing that they're doing a good job here, I think. Maybe it will really blow our socks off, because there's only a few things in this episode that I thought were weird, and that's the Luz making the line that we didn't see her make in the episode, which makes me wonder whether it was added to this one or cut from that one. and the exposition section at the very end of this one, which kind of felt sudden, like it was supposed to end before that, and then we'd have that exposition in the next episode. But I don't know.
I was really happy to finally see Darius, and again, I don't remember his name. Eberwolf, or what's the little guy's name?
Looks like the little gremlin from Ghoul School.
Yeah, no, you know who I'm talking about, though. I was really happy to finally see them, like, cool and good, because I really like them a lot. And Darius interacting with Rain being like, this is just like Hexside. It's just like, oh, it's cute. They also, that's another thing about humanizing characters and making like interesting decisions for me is like, Darius was just like, yeah, I thought the Unity Day thing seemed weird, and I noticed Rain did too, and it was just like, yeah, I mean, they're the big bad evil guys, but they're like, nah, this is weird, I'm not doing this. Like, I respect decisions like that.
At this moment, do you think Luz and Hunter know, like, a lot more about the Emperor's secrets than this whole cat's resistance movement knows? They must, right? Because they're inside his mind.
I would assume so, yeah.
Well, they know about King. They know about the Collector, and Luz saw inside of the Emperor's mind, so she kind of understands more of his weaknesses, potentially, and more of his motivations. And whereas everyone, the cats wanted to go into the Emperor's mind to find out more about him and what his plans were, and I don't think they knew.
Oh yeah, they were doing that.
Like, they knew that something was wrong. They knew that something was wrong, but it's hard to say how much they knew. They knew it was a draining spell, I think. But what does Luz know that they don't know, if that's the case?
What would have happened if they had succeeded in going in themselves instead of Hunter and Luz? Would the Emperor have, like, discovered them in his mind and then had them killed or something?
They had their little shadowy figureheads on, so maybe they'd be fine? Maybe? But he'd probably know that Emperor Scouts has gone to his head.
Where do you guys think the King thing is going in terms of, like, next episode? I guess probably we're going to see her come back again, but King being marked by the Collector, like, what do you think they'll possibly do with that when it all blows up?
Oh, no. Well, they've just established that King is really powerful. Mm-hmm. They've just established that he's a Titan, and that he might be having a growth spurt soon. That was probably a joke, but it's not impossible. I can't have it out of the picture. And the Collector has a connection to him. So, Chipped King went...
We also got confirmation that the Collector doesn't have control over him. I mean, I guess maybe it could happen, but the Collector was surprised to see him there, which is interesting.
So, either King is going to mind link fight the Collector, or the Collector might use King as a weapon, depending on how things go. So, that's the kind of thing I'd see foreshadowing. I highly doubt that they're not going to do anything with that. And I think King might... Well, we agree that King is probably going to be the key to Luz going back home as well.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, like, maybe... Because the Collector was like, wait, no, don't leave me alone here. Maybe King can use his connection to the Collector to, like, give the Collector what he wants in some other way than he's been working towards with the Emperor this whole time, and then he'll be like... And then that'll be the ultimate resolution of the conflict, is that the Emperor needs the Collector, and the Collector will be like, nah, no thanks, I'm good now.
They become friends.
Are we gonna get a big sacrifice moment? Like, I don't know.
No, we're getting a Spinel friends moment.
I don't know what that means, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh my god. No, I think the Collector must be at least a bit evil.
I mean, yeah.
Already. Like, you know.
But if they're just like a Hexus Hold'em collector and they get out, they're like, finally I can buy my favorite card game, and then they just never show up again.
What if the Collector is just like... just some kid who got trapped in the mirror dimension, and then I don't know, maybe you don't age when you're in there, and he has no way out.
Skull Kid again.
True.
Oh my god.
I mean, there's so much, like, it seems like he's some sort of ancient thing, though. I mean, he's trapped in a Pokemon Beast Ball up there. So it's like,
He's an Ultra Beast Ball, you're right.
those that whole tribe of Slayers seem to be, relatively old.
Do you think the next episode is gonna do big Day of Unity cliffhanger? Or do you think it's going to be like mostly resolved and then the cliffhanger will be something else?
I think we either get a big cliffhanger where we're like, oh my god, what's going to happen, or we'll get like a Adventure Time season 4 cliffhanger where we're like, what the heck was that? What's going to happen? What is going on? Type of cliffhanger.
Yeah. Can you remind? I'm totally jumping topics, but can you remind me of why Luce didn't make a Palisman back in the Palisman episode? Like why Ida still had the wood?
Because she wasn't in school in the Palisman episode.
And she missed that day? Like what happened?
Wait,
I can't remember.
Amity missed that day. Luz was there. I think it was just that she wasn't ready because you need to have a spiritual connection with your Palisman to carve it or something.
I mean, I could believe that. I just don't remember it. And if that is the case, then, Ida, one making a shoebox that said Ida's longest toenails, Luce will never want to open this. She saved it for Luce for when she was ready, and, it was important to her to get that back for Luce before everything exploded. I love that moment with all of my heart.
Yeah.
Do you think the next episode is going to start and, Luz is going to have a Palisman then? Or is that going to be
ask, I was going to ask, what do you think her Palisman's going to be? Because I assumed the answer was yes. I don't know. If she's with Ida and they've got quote-unquote all the time in the world.
What if it's a cat, somehow?
Yeah, I was like, is it going to be a cat? Or, that'd be cute. But
yeah. Well, it could be a cat because of cats. And that would match Amity.
Somebody else had a cat already, though, didn't they?
That's Amity.
Yeah,
yeah.
As much as I like that idea, it's a little on the nose for me. So, I want to be surprised.
It's weird because Amity has a cat, too, is the thing. It's the owl house, so it could be an owl, but Ida has one of those already. I don't know.
It'll be King.
Well, it's another owl. It's a little owl. Baby owl. For Owl House the Second.
Yeah, I really have no idea, honestly. I'm trying to think of, any, little reference they could make.
It'll be a smartphone. It's the only Palisman that works in the human realm.
Oh
a smartphone?
Yeah, it could be a bat.
What'd you say, Nick? It could be what?
It could be a bat. She has a bat phone case.
I'd like
that'd be
bat
cute.
would be
You're
cool.
right. I like that. Oh yeah, and Amity has a cat and bat. It's bubbling again! Yay!
Or she'll make a cheeseburger and Ida will be like, your Palisman is to be an animal! It can't be a cheeseburger! And Luce is like, why? And then Ida's like, I never really thought about that. And then the cheeseburger comes to life, just right there. Oh, God. Please no. They wouldn't do that.
I love how that's what we're talking about right now in this episode. It's you just left all of the emotional stuff that we can't handle right now.
We talked about.
Well, we spent 30 minutes talking about whether or not they knew if they were going to get another season or not.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah, this must be
Yeah.
such a good episode of our podcast, isn't it?
We're going to talk about everything that's not the content of the show.
I don't know. I don't feel like I have a whole lot to say about the content of the episode. I was just enjoying it. I was vibing.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. It was all really enjoyable to watch.
What about Hootie Helicopter?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I the night said outward what? Oh god, it was so funny. Oh god.
And Lilith's hair when she bowed and it
Yeah, that's cute.
fell in front of her face. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I feel like we've at least talked about the important things and I agree. I just enjoyed it. And I'm it was a kind of a lot of setup, where I'm just anxious to see where it goes.
Are we in the ratings phase?
Wait,
Do
Nick
I
has
have to rate the episode? It doesn't feel right.
Yes.
It doesn't feel right.
I think I'm going to give it a 10 because of the reason I explained earlier.
What?
It's not I do have a couple of problems with the episode, but they don't matter to me because the emotions, which is the most important part, I think, was executed basically perfectly. So I like it.
Are we just so we're all doing ratings now?
I guess so.
Nick, you sound so sad about that.
Well,
What's up?
Nick doesn't know what I think. Nick will do a 9.5 because I definitely like this a lot more than the previous episode. The previous episode definitely was a very interesting, standalone sort of thing. But this was a great, relaxing, sort of climax of everything in the show. I think the one thing that dragged it down is that they kind of made it, kind of exposition-y and a little too slow just at the beginning part. But, the action we got and the emotional stuff and the little, build up at the very end was all very nice. And I think the music in particular was very nice. When the whole King montage and when Luz and Ida were fighting, very, very good music.
When I watch the episodes, I always give the score right away when it ends, my gut reaction, and I also say 9.5. I really, really, really liked it. That just feels right to me, I guess. I don't know, I can't give it a 10, I guess, because it's weird, because I didn't have any, even your criticisms I didn't really feel, but, I'm just it was a great, I think I always have huge respect for episodes like that are, like you said, calm before the storm, sort of, everything's about to blow up, so let's have this moment of calm. I think, those are, some of my favorite things.
It's interesting that it's like a trend. I feel like a lot of shows do this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd go as far to say as Cloudy from Adventure Time was sort of similar, where they, it was in the middle of everything blowing up and all the element stuff, and Finn and Jake were stranded, and they're like, let's just talk on this cloud, because we have nothing, this is all we can do right now. And that's, one of my favorite episodes, because I love that stuff a lot. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will give this one a 9.5. I think it's unfair to rate the episode because the episode was going for a very specific vibe, and I think it mostly nailed it excellently. The thing that drags it down for me to that 0.5 is, first of all, like I said, the pacing, bit of a mixed bag. I can't even suggest how to improve it because, like I said, they could have gone heavier on the Ida and Lou stuff. But they already did go pretty heavy, so is that really a criticism? But the thing that drags it down from that 10 is probably the final few moments of the episode when we're like, oh yeah, all of the tension's gone, have a bit of exposition. But then they followed it up with this really beautiful conclusion to the episode, this beautiful bookend, and I don't think it's fair to detract from the episode when it just accomplishes what it wants to so well, almost flawlessly. So yeah, I'll give it a 9.5. The only reason it's not a 10 is because of a bit of mood whiplash at the very end, but that's literally it. Beautiful episode, well done Owl House, and I feel sad now.
Yeah, but I'm excited to see...
Yeah, I feel sad now. The Owl House.
I wasn't sad before.
I think I've said this before, but yeah, I think the ratings to me are such a casual thing. I think some of you think they're sacred. I think that's funny.
Honestly, if I gave this episode an 8, do you know how many people would try to cut me?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand that, but for me, I'm which is kind of the whole podcast as a whole is we're just going to sit down and have an honest talk about just our opinions with nothing else. And it's if you decided, I'm going to give this one an 8 for personal reasons and someone freaked out that opinion you have, it's wrong. It's damn.
Yeah,
okay.
but then we don't say that and we don't get any comments in our videos anyway, so it's who gives a fuck? But yeah, I feel like this one's a 9.5, and I stand by that. I double down. It's a 9.5. I do not give it a 10 because there was a bit of mood whiplash at the end, which took it away from me, which detracted me from that feeling I was having that I was so driven by, and then it replaced it with another very melancholy feeling, but that mood whiplash does have an effect on how I process the episode, so there we go. 9.5.
Yeah, that's all fair.
For me, a lot of it is is this agony of a witch level of freaking out for me, yes or no? If it's no, then it's a 9.5. If it's yes, it's a 10. That's how I do my 10s.
Yeah. I've said it before, but none of my ratings hold up next to each other. If I went back and looked at them, I would not be able to tell you why I gave it that rating. It's very much a decision in the moment.
Honestly.
Well, yeah, like especially having a reference point later. Yeah, I feel like all my season 1 ratings should be like scaled down 3 points like, automatically.
Yeah.
But no, it's fine.
Honestly, I agree there.
Because I'm always just thinking relative to this show for sure. Like anything I would give a 10 is going to be like an episode that I will remember. You know, I mean, clearly we're busy people. We forget a lot of what's been happening in this show. We don't focus on the fandom stuff, so we lose our memory. But like a 10 episode to me, a 9 episode to me is going to be one that like impressed me and was like amazing. And then anything else, like I'd only ever really get rid of points if I like got bored or like it did something stupid. But it has yet to do anything stupid. I've mostly just been bored with some episodes.
I mean, season 1 did some stupid stuff, but then, eventually it petered out. We've not had any issues in season 2. There's not been any dumb stuff. Every episode has been, I don't know, it's quite magical, like, not knowing what's going to happen in each episode and how heavy it's going to be. I don't know, I'm having an emotional moment for some reason. I don't know why.
Because the show's almost over and you're experiencing Adventure Time feelings. Duh.
Exactly.
See?
Literally. Are you feeling the same? Are you getting those together again feelings, or those end of Adventure Time feelings? Because I am right now, especially because Amphibia's ending today, and I'm just starting to like Amphibia. I've not finished it yet, but I want to be there.
Oh
man. My god.
Oh, you must have it worse than me, Tipsy, because I caught up with Amphibia like right before new episodes started airing in the second half of season 3, and I feel like I'm not ready for it to be over. I feel like I had so little time with it, and like you have even less.
No.
Here's a question: should we hit stop before we keep talking, or is this content?
No,
this
keep
is content.
going.
No, not until you say a haiku, Chan.
What? Oh man. Okay, hey.
So we gotta work on this. We'll help you. Okay, fuck. That one made me sad.
That one made me sad. Thank you. Okay, Nick. Now give me 7 syllables.
Oh, I'm very bad at this. Do not.
I didn't ask about that. Give me 7 syllables.
That's 7 syllables.
Wait, I'm very bad at. No, that's 6. You were so close.
No.
Okay, wait. What was our
bad
first
at
line?
this.
What was the first line? I'm sad.
That made me. What was this? Yeah, what was the line? That made me so sad. Is that what you said?
That made me so sad. Oh, I'm very bad at this.
Okay, Tulip. What's the last line?
Wait, I don't want the show to end. There we go. Right.
Want the show to? Yeah, good job. You're not bad at this. Don't ever. We need to work on that.
I haven't had to make a haiku since like 3rd grade.
That doesn't mean you're not a master. Okay, Tulip, finish us off, and I'll sit here and just like lean back in my chair. You know, that's what I do.
The Collector, huh?
Yeah, thanks. That's such
And
a.
just like that, it's over. All right.
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please hit the like button so more viewers like you can find this video. Please consider subscribing to my channel with notifications on to see my future content, and follow me on other sites like TikTok and Twitter for special exclusives. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned for more.